Hello and welcome to Standard Sports Ashes coverage. We're here to talk about the fourth day of the fourth test at Sydney. I'm joined by Will McPherson, who's at the ground again. Will, another pretty a decent day's cricket, actually.
Yeah, it was. We had three innings. It was all about Usman Khawaja today. He scored his second century of the match on what was proved a triumphant return to Test cricket on his home ground. He'd been out of the Test side for 2.5 years since Headingley 2019, but he's been absolutely exceptional here. He's batted beautifully, and he's left England needing to bat all day on the final day, 98 overs to save the game. I think the idea of them chasing down another 358 runs is pretty unlikely. I think that the object will be survival. But yeah, England got it up against it because of Khawaja's excellence.
Let's have a quick chat about Khawaja then, because he's someone not dissimilar really to what we were talking about yesterday with Johnny Bairstow, who over his time's batted all over the place in the order. He's someone who Australia have obviously been trying to move on for a while, but his form in Shield cricket this year has kind of brought him right back into the fold. There was a bit of debate about whether he'd play in the first test. They went with Travis Head. He said today he already expects Travis Head to come straight back in for the fifth test. That surely won't happen, or if it does, it won't be for Khawaja, will it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Travis Head will come back in because he's had a great series, but I think it will surely be for Marcus Harris with Khawaja going up the order. That would seem a logical thing to do. Harris has played more than a dozen tests now, and he's yet to score 100. He looks better as this series has gone on, and he's made 2 starts in this game, but you know, England would much rather bowl at Harris than Khawaja or Head. So, yeah, Khawaja came really close to playing that first test. I thought he was really unlucky to miss out. But he's taken his opportunity when Head got COVID. Obviously, these are really strange circumstances to come in. But he's done brilliantly. It's been a masterclass. You know, you could see him now. He's 35. He's not young, but you could see him having a really productive couple of years in the Test side now in a kind of final flourish of his career.
On England, then Mark Wood bowled really, really well again. I suppose credit to him. He's probably, as it stands, the England player who's going to come out of this series with his reputation the most enhanced. And I suppose you've got to feel a little bit sorry for Joe Root and Chris Silverwood in what Mark Wood's doing is kind of showing why they were so desperate to have Ollie Stone and Jofra Archer out here as well.
Yeah, Wood bowled nicely again today. He's kept charging in. It's amazing he's stayed in the 90 MPHs, which is so unusual for an England bowler. He picked up the big wickets of David Warner and Marnus Labuschagne for the third time in 3 innings since he went to number 1 in the world. Warner is obviously so dangerous in these third innings situations. So, his contribution was immense today. He was getting flayed around a bit at the end by Cameron Green and Khawaja, but that does not blot his copybook at all. He's brilliant. The other England bowler who I actually thought did pretty well today was Jack Leach. He's obviously had a very, very tough time of it this series, but he's stuck at it. And today he bowled with kind of more balanced fields, and he picked up 4 wickets. Obviously 2 with the final 2 balls of Australia's innings. But yeah, it was a better performance from Leach, and it probably keeps him in contention to play in Hobart, I would say.
So then kind of down to the crux of it, as you mentioned earlier, England need to bat out the day. Their openers saw off a tricky spell actually this evening, which you wouldn't have backed them to do. On England's batting through the series, you wouldn't give them much chance tomorrow of batting out the day, but with weather potentially coming into it, and also what's the state of the pitch? Is it a 5th day pitch that you could bat all day on?
The pitch was misbehaving on the 3rd day, but actually calmed down a little bit today. I thought I'd give England a chance of surviving this game. They batted for a similar number of overs in Adelaide. Obviously, that was ultimately in vain, but it's probably still a long shot. They put on 30 tonight, the openers, which is the highest opening stand of the series, which is just not good enough. But they need to stick around in the morning. The big problem is not the personnel, which is an issue because most of the batters have struggled this series, but actually it's the injuries. So Ben Stokes has got a side, and Joss Buttler and Johnny Bairstow have got hand injuries. Both of them could be all 3 of them could be ruled out of the final test. Ollie Pope had to keep today and actually kept really well. They took 4 catches, which is a record equaling effort for a sub fielder. But yeah, it's going to be pretty tough going with those few injuries. As we discussed yesterday, Butler could barely hold his bat. Bairstow, he's probably operating on adrenaline, and maybe Stokes as well. But Stokes fielded all day, so there is a chance he can get through. But yeah, it's going to take a monumental effort from the fit batsman, and then the guys who are struggling as well are going to have to dig in.
Well, with the injuries that they're going to take to Hobart, it sounds like England will be right up against it there. So it could well be that tomorrow is the deciding factor in whether this ends 5-0 or not. So fingers crossed they can produce something. We'll catch up tomorrow to review all of the fourth test, and fingers crossed England have batted out the day.